Where are you located right now?
Atlanta.
Oh, Atlanta. So you're right up the road from me. I'm
Where
in
you at?
Montgomery.
Okay, yeah.
You're
Yeah,
like two
facts,
hours
yeah.
away from me.
No, facts.
Yeah, my daughter's actually wanting to go to Georgia Tech. So
Great school. It's a great school.
yeah.
Me, what?
So yeah, you got book 14 days in Beijing. I definitely want to talk about that. But what was your childhood like? Like what was your upbringing to kind of set the stage for who you are for our audience?
Yeah, I had a great childhood. I was raised by my mother and grew up with a younger sibling, one of my younger siblings. But it was just us three primarily in the household, and we had a great childhood overall. We was honor roll kids. I was natural born leader, so always was that voice of reason for a lot of
Mhm.
my peers. And we it was a great childhood. We got to travel a lot, you know what I'm saying, see parts of the world that most people won't never get to see, you know what I'm saying. We got to travel to London twice. I got to go to the Bahamas a few times. So I got experience traveling outside of the world. Um,
Family
and
military or what was it?
now just we
Just
just
traveling.
Sagittarius. We just natural travelers. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
I like
Yeah,
it.
for sure.
Not enough people do that.
Yeah, exactly. So just being exposed to just drastically different realms. So you know what I'm saying, or just different matrices at a very young age was pivotal. And definitely played a factor in me being who I am today. And then of course embarking on that journey to Beijing
Yeah.
just a few years ago. Um, so childhood was great. We ended up playing football, started playing football around seventh, eighth grade, my brother and I.
Mhm.
So that just sharpened us and fine tuned us even more. And of course, we wanted to play college football. So we really couldn't be knuckleheads if we
Yeah.
wanted to do. You know what I'm saying? We had to make sure our grades was intact. You know what I mean? Our T's was crossed and our I's was dotted. Because especially in high school, we went like we was the best. You know what I'm saying? The
Yeah.
high school we graduated from hasn't had a winning record since 2008. So you know, it wasn't like a lot of colleges or scouts or anything like that was coming to our school to recruit. And it wasn't like our coaches was pushing or marketing us to other programs as well. So playing college football was something that we really, really wanted to do. So that definitely helped us stay in line
Yeah.
as far as, you know what I'm saying, through high school. And we both played all 4 years, and then I got to go on to Stetson University to um, pursue my college career, and I obtained my bachelor's degree in communication and media studies while I was
Nice.
there.
Did you say
Uh,
Stetson?
yeah, down in Florida.
Yeah, what are they? They got the green hat, right?
Yeah, yeah, Hatters.
Hatters. I was gonna say Hatters, but I didn't want to be wrong.
Yeah,
Um,
Hatter. Yeah.
yeah, Stetson Hatters. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, so after I graduated from Stetson, I landed my first job teaching English to children in China. And
Yeah, how did that come about? Like, so did you always want to teach, or what was like your aspirations growing up?
so yeah, well my degree honestly, I went to college to play football. You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying? I remember when I went on an academic visit to Stetson, they was asking me like, what do you want to major in? I said, what are you talking about?
football.
Like it's like, what do you want to study? I'm like, oh, I forgot that whole aspect of college. I'm just here to play football. Communication, I'll go with that. You know what I'm saying? I just chose it. You know,
Yeah,
I didn't care. You know what I'm saying? Now, communication did turn around and be beneficial for me.
right.
But when it came to a career, man, I had no clue what I wanted to do. Honestly, all I knew was football. And once football came to an end, I had to re-identify myself and learn myself all over again.
Yeah,
Well, I was just applying for jobs, really. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I don't have any experience whatsoever aside from playing football, but that ain't gonna really do nothing. You know what I'm saying? As far as, I mean, some places, companies like hiring athletes, so that might get my foot in, it'll get me my foot in the door, but will it land me in the position? Absolutely not. And that's what I kept getting hit with. Like, okay, we like you as a candidate, but it's just experience, man. We're gonna go with somebody else that got a little bit more experience than you do. So I did this whole process of interviewing, applying to interviewing for about 8 months. You know,
yeah.
graduated. I'm back home, like, bro, I didn't do everything quote unquote the textbook way, and I still got the short end of the stick. Like,
Yeah.
what's going on, man? Something got to shake. But I was like, maybe you need to reapproach your job searching because you've been applying for straight corporate positions, sales, marketing, management, that whole nine. So clearly, the universe let you know that field ain't for you. You might need to pursue something else. So I switched my job searching up, and I was like, okay, what you good at, Chance? You good at talking to people, working with people? So that sounded like social work to me. So I just typed in social work on the search engine, just hit enter. And going through the filters, I noticed a tab that I ain't never noticed before, and it said international. I was like, dang, why haven't I thought to look outside the globe for opportunities? I mean, outside the U.S. for opportunities.
Yeah.
So that's when I came across, teach English to children in China. I'm like, okay, this sounds lit. And I've always been interested in China. In the introduction of my book, I flash back to a table conversation I'm having with my family at one Saturday morning at breakfast. And I'm like 6, 7, 8 years old. My mom asked my brother and I, she said, what's 3 places in the world y'all want to go? And I'll make sure that we go. I instantly and eagerly said, China. She like, well, why China? You know what I'm saying? All places, why China? The only logical reason I had at that young age was that's where everything is made.
Yeah.
Look at the back of any product, what it say? Made in China. I want to go to the land where everything is made. I want to see what it's like over there. Now, little did I know that simple table conversation would not only be a piece of manifestation, but a catalyst of change of what China would eventually do. You know what I'm saying, for me. So once I applied to the position overseas, did the interview, heard back from the folks a few days later, and they was like, yeah, we want to move forward with you as a candidate. First job to tell me yes, after, you know what I'm saying, trial and error, month after month. I'm like, oh yeah, ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. This is where I'm supposed to go.
You're like, let's do it.
I ain't got nothing to lose. So, hey, it was about a 3-month long process just to get the visa to go over there. So, in the meantime, between time, I was like, well, since I'm going to be around working with kids, let me go ahead and get used to being around them. So I found 2 jobs at 2 different elementary schools in my county. So lunchroom monitor at one and after school program counselor at the other.
So you were that guy that was like clapping in the cafeteria to get them to be quiet.
Yeah.
Hand in the air and all that stuff.
Yeah. Turn off the lights. Yeah. How was that?
That's a villain in elementary school.
Yeah. So, but me playing football, I can handle the noise. Noise didn't bother me at all. Now it'd be the older teachers. They'd be like, "Oh my goodness, it's so loud. I don't see how you do it." I'm like, "Man, kids is kids.
Yeah,
I ain't even raise my voice trying to get these kids to pipe down. Let them. It's lunch. Let them have fun.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
They've been quiet all day.
Yeah, let them parlay. But yeah, so that was smooth, and I started to learn a little bit of language. Took it upon myself. I was learning through an app called Mango. And I had to start get my TEFL, so teaching English as a foreign language certification. So did all that within the 3-month process of getting the visa. Once I got the visa, I entered China on October 10th, 2018. And for the first 2 weeks, they put us up in a hotel to do our training, and we had to find a place to live by the time those 2 weeks were up. So we training for the job and trying to house hunt in Beijing, which was, man, that was interesting. It was very, very interesting trying to find a place to live on the other side of the world. But fortunately, they had real estate agents partnered with the company to help us out. But even then, we still had to go see all these different places, and just being fresh in Beijing and trying to navigate. It's, you know what I'm saying, we still trying to learn the metro system and all that. But yeah, for sure.
On a scale of 1 to 10, where was your Chinese from the app, based off the app?
Man, I say about a 3.
It's about how I was for 6 years in Germany.
Yeah,
I stayed at a 3.
And for real, but I was solid with that 3. I could move and groove. You know what I'm saying, with that 3. Everybody else I was with, they ain't know. You know what I'm saying? Some folks was fluent. You know what I'm saying, or at least knew they knew the language. Some vast majority, man, ain't know a lick of it. They ain't bothered to try to learn it. Nothing. I ain't want to be looking like a deer in headlights when I went out there. So I'm like, I'm gonna learn something.
Did any of the traveling beforehand to other countries and stuff, how did that prepare you for this move?
Just being in a completely different world, essentially.
Culturally aware.
Yeah, I was exposed to that. We was in London like fourth grade, and the last time I went to the Bahamas was my senior year of high school.
London's so nice.
Yeah. So I was like, man, now that I'm adult, I can do it. You know what I'm saying? I can really get to explore and see what the city has to offer. Because when we went to London, we doing everything our parents was doing. You know what I'm saying? Got chaperone. So now, yeah, I'm adult. I can do what I want to. And we finna be lit. So we found an apartment on the east side of Beijing in Qingnan-Lu, the business district. And my school is literally across the street from my apartment complex. So all I had to do is, man, it was sweet. It was sweet. But yeah, once we took me about a month and a half to get adjusted, far as, you know what I'm saying, get settled into the apartment and getting money, you know what I'm saying, the money back rolling in. But once everything got squared away, China was lit.
And you were on what, a 1-year contract?
Yeah. Best experience I've ever had. I always encourage people to travel abroad for sure. But if you can live abroad someplace else, man, I highly recommend.
So we lived in we were stationed in Germany from 2013 to 2019. And I didn't want to live on base. I told my wife, I was like, we gotta live off base, experience, like I need to walk to a bakery and to a bank and, you know, experience the whole thing. I loved it. I mean, it was just, and then traveling everywhere. Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, that's the luxury about Europe, man. Europe, you can
everything. I think we were 40 minutes from Luxembourg, and then I mean, an hour away from the airport, and we could fly to. They got those Ryanair flights where you can go to London for $10, and it was crazy. But my daughter's 14, and she's seen 27 countries. But I mean, she's so culturally aware now, and you really see too how Americans we feel entitled.
Yeah, like a mug. Yeah, because the world
somewhere we're on foreign soil, and we're like, how do you not speak English? It's crazy, but
it's because we're just so used to everybody from around the world moving here to America. We're so used. We're exposed to just as many cultures and differences and religions, all ethnicities, the whole nine.
Yeah.
But it's in America. These people are adapting to us and the culture that's been established here. It isn't like we got to go and folks are not used to being a foreigner.
Yeah.
You used to encountering foreigners, but you always used to be in the domesticated one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that definitely plays. It makes you think. It makes you small-minded in essence.
Really does. I teach right now in the Air Force. So I'm curious, talking to someone else who's taught, what was your biggest obstacle teaching day in and day out over there?
I say the classroom management.
Really?
Yeah, because I played football, man. So the year before, I was the student. You know what I mean? I just got to show up, man. I might have to participate just a little bit just so I can get my little points, and I'll just go about, you know what I'm saying? I know how to work my one just so I can get by, and I'm still gonna make at least a B. You know what I'm saying? So the fact I ain't had to really do too much aside from just showing up and doing the work, now I gotta really facilitate the classroom and develop everybody and cater to. Oh man, yeah, and then
listen to everyone.
Man, and behavior too, managing behavior. I'm chill, laid back, man. You know what I'm saying? Growing up in school, I had a lot of peers. I could be cool with the bad kids. You know what I'm saying? I could be the best friends with the baddest students, but I'm still gonna do what I'm supposed to do. I'm gonna get my good grades. My behavior was gonna be A1, but I can still coexist with the troublemakers. You know what I'm saying? I just ain't gonna let them influence me for sure. So
was now it American students?
Oh no, I was teaching all Chinese kids.
So what's the biggest difference with a typical Chinese class versus an American class?
Kids is kids. Kids are kids. No matter what phase of the earth. I was thinking, okay, I'm finna be teaching Chinese kids. Oh, they gonna be the most obedient, disciplined,
but I think,
structured, organized. I'm like, oh yeah, this gonna be a breeze. Boy,
how old?
I was teaching kids as young as 3 years old, all the way up to 14, but was mainly working with the elementary school age range.
Okay.
So I really ain't even get all the way up to like 5th grade for real, or 4th. I ain't really go no past 3rd for real. I mainly work with that pre-K 3rd grade level. for the most part.
That's
And
interesting. Okay.
our classes and lessons are nothing but games. Just because they kids, we got to keep them engaged. So with my athletic background, yeah, I'm gonna spread these flashcards around this classroom. We're gonna run, we're gonna sprint, we're gonna jump. I'm gonna see who got some agility. I'm gonna see we're athletic as well as smart at the same time. We're gonna make it a competition, because you turn anything into a competition. Oh yeah, it's lit then. You know what I'm saying? Boys versus girls, or two captains. Yeah, y'all pick your own team. You know what I'm saying? Let them have at it. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna get the most out of them from doing that. So we was lit in class. You know what I'm saying? We was always lit. I was 22, 23 at the age, so energy unmatched. You know what I'm saying? I can match their energy just like, you know what I'm saying, like no other. So yeah, I enjoyed teaching. And then, of course, the food, authentic Chinese food, is nothing like American-style Chinese food.
You probably only eat American Chinese
two
food.
completely different cuisines. You know what I'm saying? Entirely.
Your story took a little bit of a turn. You're down there, you're enjoying teaching, enjoying the culture.
My best life.
What happened next?
And then April 4th, 2019, it's Thursday for me. It's a day off, one of my days off. So pretty much my weekend was Wednesdays and Thursdays instead of the traditional weekend. So it was Thursday. I'm getting ready to head to an event that my company is hosting. So they do team builder events every month. You know what I'm saying? They have a variety of different ones you can choose from. So I got into one of the ones that, you know what I'm saying, ain't really had nobody in, and it was a fan painting event. So you get to customize your own Chinese fan. So before I slide to the event, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm a pregame. So I'm in an apartment. I'm drinking some Chinese liquor, smoking some cannabis on my little silver pipe. And I get done, getting dressed, finalizing, make sure I got everything before I walk out the door. I hear a knock. Guests aren't unfamiliar. Curious to see who it is. Look through the peephole, and there stood 3 officers from the Beijing Police.
What in the world?
Heart sunk to my stomach instantly. Because of course that was the last people I was expecting to be at the door. But is this their first time showing up to the department randomly? No, it isn't. So just really curious about what it is that they here for. But let me go ahead, put everything up. So I put everything up, open the door. They enter. The officer in the front is communicating to me. Language barrier, of course, so I don't know what he's talking about. My face is letting him know that, bro, you pretty much talking on deaf ears right now. So he pulls out his phone and he speaks into the translator app. Shows me the phone and I'm reading it. Are you on drugs? Nah, bro, you tripping. What you talking about? Drugs? Nah, but you got me confused with somebody else. Nah, passport? You might need to see my passport. He was speaking to the translator app again. Show me the phone. Are there any drugs in the house? Family, where are you getting this information from? First of all, how you doing? Hey, you good? Let's start there. Passport. Let me go. I'm gonna go grab my passport. You know what I'm saying? Clearly, you got me confused with somebody else. I'm just trying to finesse the situation.
Right.
So, go grab all my documentation, bring it to him to look over. The other 2 officers are just scoping the apartment out gently. They ain't looking into anything too serious, just scoping it out. A few minutes pass, another officer enters the apartment, and he has something in his hand. I can't really
now you got
tell.
4 in there.
Yeah. I can't really tell what it is he has, and I really ain't thinking too much on it. But he hands that item to the officer that I was originally speaking to, and that officer communicates to me that I need to pee into the cup. So it's a drug test right there on the spot. And right then and there, I was like, oh yeah, it's over with. It's over with. So do the drug test. Yeah. Yeah. They'll drug test you anywhere.
Really? So it's not like you need a warrant or anything like that?
Oh no, they drug test. Boy, let you be out and about in the club. They'll raid the club and drug test every foreign in there. Yeah.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Why do you think they were banging on your door? Did someone tip them off? Were you being profiled? What do you think?
Mystery to this day. I get asked that so much. I'm like, bro, I don't know what possessed them to come to the apartment, bro. And like I said, it wasn't their first time pulling up to the apartment either. The previous 2 times, one was to check our visas and stuff to make sure we weren't over there legally. The second time, I had an altar set up on my balcony. My altar that I pray to my ancestors. I had to set up on my balcony, and on my altar I have candles. So you see the candles from, you know what I'm saying, the window from from outside the apartment building. So I guess they, you know what I'm saying, security saw it and they came knocking on the door telling me that I needed to put out the candle. So for them to be at the apartment for the third time, I'm like, I don't know what they doing here. You know what I'm saying? I really don't know. You know,
how many of y'all was there that was over there?
It was I just had one roommate.
Okay.
And he was at work when all this was happening.
So they had you do your analysis test, and then I'm assuming they had to take that somewhere off site.
Oh no. Them results came. I peed in that cup, gave it to them. They set that cup on the table. Them results came back just like that.
Oh wow.
Yeah. They all huddled up around the cup, just looking at it. And as soon as the results came in, they just started looking at each other, smiling. I was like, "Oh yeah, it's over. It's over with."
What was going through your mind then?
Man, I'm just hanging on to the hope they don't come across the rest of my stash. That's it. You know what I'm saying? I just gotta. Once I'm like, the drug test, it is what it is. I'm gonna have to finesse this the best that I can. But as long as they don't come across the rest of my stash, then we good. So by this time, it's about 8 officers in the apartment. One speaks English fluently, and he's questioning me about failing the drug test, who I get the weed from, when's the last time I smoked. You know what I'm saying? Just trying to see if he can get any extra information out of me. And mind you, I'm still high. Like, I'm still high out of my mind. I'm still geeked up. The moment is big. You know what I'm saying? It's serious. It's the fog of war. You know what I'm saying? I'm pissing down my leg, panicking, but still trying to keep my composure. So every question he posed to me, first thing that came to my mind, I'm just blurting out. You know what I'm saying? I ain't even really thinking about what I'm finna say or what I'm going to say. I'm just responding. And we just going back and forth. And it was getting to the point where I was catching myself lie. So I knew he was catching. If I'm catching myself lie, I know for a fact he catching my lies. Yeah. But hey, I'm from Atlanta, the city of finesse. You live by the finesse, you die by the finesse. So we just going back and forth. And then once he realized that I wasn't gonna give him anything he worked with, he just made it clear that, hey man, you caught red-handed. You know what I'm saying? We know that you got more. You know what I'm saying? The charade is up. And at that moment, it's like chills just. My body was just suddenly drenched in the coldest of water. You're like, damn.
Another country.
Yeah, I just died by the finesse. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. I live to finesse another day. Now I got to hold myself accountable. So I fess up to it. I'm like, yeah, all right. It's, you know what I'm saying, for sure. It is what it is. Yeah. They want me to show them my stash. So I get up to show them where I put my stash. But once I get there, lo and behold, everything is on display. They been found it. They was just trying to see if they was going to get any extra information out of me. So they confiscate everything, throw the cuffs on me, escort me out the building, set me down in the police van. And now I'm just curious, of course, how this whole thing finna play out. I'm in disbelief that this is even actually happening. And I'm in the foreign, and I'm in China too. I'm like, boy, this is crazy. Nobody knows this is happening to me. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna learn as I go. You know what I'm saying? So we get to one precinct, we there briefly, you know what I'm saying, for like 30 minutes, and then we get up and we get back in the van. Mind you, nothing has been explained to me. At this point, nothing. All the communication that was going on before questioned me about the drugs. And once they found that once I was caught red-handed, oh man, all forms of communication was gone. Nothing. I don't know what's going on. I'm like, we just precinct place to place. We just sitting in this. I'm like, the first precinct, it's like the typical scene you see on TV shows and movies when they bring in new arrests and you got the officers on desk duty. Think of that scene, but the Chinese version. None but Chinese. And I'm the only foreigner in there. So, of course, all eyes on me. So I'm just sitting there, high as Orion, looking at these officers on desk duty, just reflecting and replaying everything that had just happened. And I remember telling myself to take note of every minor detail because it's going to be a great story to tell once you're out of this predicament.
Yeah, something you said too is that accountability piece. How big do you think that was? Like, because I say that to working with high schoolers, working with military members. There's a big difference with taking ownership and not. And how big was that? The fact that you were like, hey, I own up to it. I made a mistake.
Yeah, I mean, accountability was emphasized. Like, it was like almost religious at Stetson. You know what I'm saying? My head coach at the time, Roger Hughes, he was a big fan of the military. Yeah. Big fan of the military. So we read a lot of military books. And always, anytime we had team meetings, he would always relate things back to the military and being accountable. And one of the books we read was ownership, extreme ownership. You know what I'm saying? In fall camp. So that was just something I knew. I knew what I was doing. You know what I'm saying? Now that the fact the shit didn't hit the fan, hey, pal, you ain't got nobody to be upset with but yourself. And then you honestly wasn't doing nothing wrong. You shouldn't have been doing it here. So, hey man, the fact that, you know what I'm saying, we gotta take this to the chin. You know what I mean? We gotta own up to this. It definitely, I feel like it played in my factor tremendously. Even though I don't get explained any information, I'm here to tell y'all I did 14 days. The whole time, bro, you don't know how, as you read the book, you don't know how long you're gonna be there. You know what I'm saying? You just hope waking up to hear some new information, going to bed disappointed until one day they just finally call your name.
Yeah.
Finally call your name. Come on. You know what I'm saying?
I'm curious, the time we're recording this, it's kind of ironic because in the world right now, the big news is Brittany Griner got released today. So for you, being what you've been through, what sort of emotions go through your body or your mind when you started following all that with her, and then you kind of hear that today she got released?
I mean, it was just crazy because I was seeing like that she had got arrested and detained in like February. I thought it was like May or something, April or May. So I'm like, damn, she been locked up since February.
It's been a while.
I'm like, that's pretty much all of 2022. She been locked up. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But yet we've heard all of the story. We heard the story, and you know what I'm saying, what happened from the news outlets and everybody else's mouth except hers. We don't know what that story is like from her lens and how it happened. What was her perspective of the whole situation from start to finish? Mm-hmm. That's the only thing I was thinking about. I was like, bro, I would love to hear her story from her lens.
She'll have a book.
Oh yeah, I emailed her. As soon as I saw she got released, I went to her wife's Instagram. Click the link in the bio. Man, you could email them, send letters and stuff to their PO box. So I emailed her. I'm gonna send a copy of 14 days to the PO box. All that. Like, I would really love to help her be a part of the process of helping her write her story. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, that's gonna be a great one. I already know it's gonna be a great read. It's gonna be a page turner for sure.
I thought about it whenever I saw that today. I was like, wow, this is crazy.
Yeah.
In terms of aligning with talking to you. You get in there and your first day, like that first night. Mm-hmm. You getting that shut eye that first night. What's going through your mind?
Man, I ain't getting to I ain't getting to the cell till about like 4 o'clock in the morning. Mm. And then every day we wake up at 6:30. So I really got in there resting my eyes for a few minutes, and I had to get right back on up, and I had to be up the entire day until we get nap time at 12 o'clock every day. So that was, you know what I'm saying, I only got to rest my eyes for a little bit. But once I actually got into the cell, man, psych thrown at just how the cell is set up. So it's pretty much a big rectangle. I say, man, about 15 yards long, about 10 yards wide. Yeah, 15 yards long, 10 yards wide, for sure. You know what I'm saying? That's how big the cell is. 15 men to one cell, 9 wooden beds, 3 soups a day, and all I had for those 14 days was 1 Tupperware bowl and 1 plastic spoon. Literally, that's all I had.
How many spoke English?
Oh, the first 3 days, I was the only foreign, only English speaker in my cell. So it was first 3 days of the book, no communication whatsoever. Just a lot of reflecting. A lot of reflecting. Even chapter 3 is titled War with My Reflections. Because ain't got nobody to talk to or communicate with but myself. But it's just
side eyes or anything like that from people in there?
Oh no. These folks really, by the time the next morning, when 6:30 came, and everybody see, we got a foreigner in here. They're just curious now. I mean, they're just excited now. Yeah, you really they got all these different questions. They trying to talk to me. I really want to talk to them too. But hey, we can't. You know what I'm saying? The language barrier is too difficult. And I'm honestly not in no headspace to talk right now anyway. Yeah. But y'all, I can tell y'all genuine and y'all just curious, if anything. Y'all just want to, this is probably a lot of y'all's first time having a person of color this up and close.
Yeah,
in person.
that's what I was getting at. Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? They just want to know, do all the stereotypes I learned about y'all align? Really, that's the only type of time it be, because they really don't know. They ain't like it's a bunch. They grow up with black people in their neighborhoods. No, you know what I'm saying? That's not the case. There's number of Chinese folks over there. So
when did you get to notify your family, and how did all that go down?
Day 7. So I was in there a whole week, and we had to meet with the immigration dude. So he collected they got the guards to collect all the foreigners, and they took us to the lobby of the jail. And it was one immigration dude, and there's about like 30 of us foreigners down there. So he got to go to all of us individually to to work with us. So we was down there for a good little minute. But we was able to get our phones because we had to find somebody who could find somebody to buy us a plane ticket for whenever our time to go is. So they let us get our cell phones. So of course he way down the line. So I'm responding to all the messages I done got. You know what I'm saying? At least trying to tap in with the most important people, let folks know what's going on. And I was only able to be on my phone briefly because I was responding to messages. And then he came up and he was like, "Okay, who gonna buy your ticket?" I was like, "I can buy my ticket." He's like, "You can't buy your ticket." I'm like, "Well, my mama could probably buy my ticket." He said, "All right, call her." So I'll call Dukes. And this is the first time talking to her. I was like, "Yo, what's going on?" She's like, "You tell me." I was like, "Yeah, I'm locked up." She's like, "Yeah, I know. I got an email from U.S. Embassy telling me you had been arrested. Yeah, your brother dropped me off at the airport right now. I'll be in Beijing tomorrow by like 4 p.m.
Oh, so she was freaking out.
She's like, "I'm on the way. I'll be in Beijing tomorrow."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Man, all right." You know what I'm saying? My mama don't play. So I was like, "Well, can you buy a ticket?" You know what I'm saying? The immigration dude said, "We got to find somebody to buy a ticket." She said, "Yeah." So I was like, "Yeah." Duke said she can buy. He said, "All right, hang up the phone." I said, "Damn, all right, Mom, I gotta go." So that was the last bit of communication I had with anybody until I came back to America.
Did you have an attorney or anything like that you were talking to on the
side? Man, they took me to one precinct, the second precinct. I did my official interrogation at that second precinct, and it's dramatic because they take me to the basement of the precinct into this room and lock me into this all metal chair that looks like an electric chair. So this chair locked my shins, thighs, waist, chest, and arms all into one place. The only part of my body I can move is my head. So I did my whole interrogation locked into this metal chair, just like this here. And then once we got done at that second precinct, we went straight to the jail, and they threw me straight in the cell.
Anybody from the embassy you talked to?
I ain't talked to the embassy till day 10. And once I finally got to talk to them, they was just like, "Yeah, ain't really much we can do, but make sure they ain't treating y'all inhumanely. They ain't treating y'all inhumanely." I'm like, "No, not really. I don't know what's going on, but aside from that, yeah, maybe a couple steps. Well, okay, then I need you to fill out this form if you want us to contact anybody for you, and we'll let them know. Aside from that," he said, "least amount of time you do is 2 weeks. The most amount of time you do is a month." So that was pretty much it. So, yeah, so I was like, "Hey, they wasn't no help either." But I'm like, "Hey, it is what it is. I'm just ready to get on up out of here at this point."
How did you get notified that you got released?
Man, them folks came, opened the door, called my name, and told me to come on.
You had like a vision or something, didn't you? About
So with me not receiving any information from them in regards to how the process works, how the jail operates, you know what I'm saying, all of that, I received signs and messages from my ancestors letting me know how long I would be there and how my release would be. And they showed me how my release would be in one of my dreams. And in the dream I had, we would sleep, you know what I'm saying? Right, it was right before they can announce for everybody to wake up. I hear the cell door opening, and hear them calling for me and one of the other inmates. So I get up, I'm like, I knew the other inmate he's supposed to get out the next day. So I'm like, "Dang, they call you a day early and they calling me with you?" I'm like, "Okay, it might be my mama. She must have been pressing their line or something." You know what I'm saying? I'm like, "But you're supposed to get out tomorrow." I'm like, we ain't even know how long you was supposed to be here. So I'm like, hey, boy, it don't even matter now, but we finna get ready to go. So we walk out the cell, get to the elevator. We get on the elevator. The CO gets on there with us. We going downstairs and we're heading down to the bottom floor, and then the elevator just stops. Light shut off. It's dark in the elevator. I'm like, boy, what the fuck going on? What the fuck? You know what I'm saying? I'm tripping. Like, what's going on? And the CO in the elevator with us, he's just yelling. I don't know what he's saying. I'm like, bro, what is he talking about, bro? What is he saying? And then the other inmate was like, he's telling us to wake up. I'm like, wake up. And that's when I started to become conscious again. I woke up. I'm like, oh, boy. Damn, that shit was crazy. So I'm like, hey, bro. I just went and told him, like, hey, bro, we gonna get out, bro. We gonna get out. They gonna come get us. Like, it's gonna be random, but we gonna get out. My partner, the dude that in my dream that got out with me, he got out the very next day. But I ain't get out till, you know what I'm saying, a whole week later. But it was the same, like, we sleep. I hear the cell door opening, and they just calling the name. You know what I'm saying? They calling my Chinese name. They just gave me a name because you know what I'm saying, they couldn't pronounce my American.
Now, what was your Chinese name?
It was Zheke. So it's Jackson in Chinese.
Okay.
So it was they calling my name, but I ain't used to hearing that or going by that. So I'm just trying to get some sleep. I ain't really paying it no mind. And then my other inmates, they like, hey, shaking, hey, bro, they calling you. I'm like, huh? What's going on? It's like, hey, bro, they calling you to go, bro. It's time for you to go. And I get up to grab my bowl, and I just pause, and I just start flashing back to the dream I had. It was such an epiphany. Like, I done really forgot that these folks are telling me to go home.
Yeah.
Like, they calling me to go home. I'm just so shocked at how in tune I've been with my subconscious this whole time. Mm-hmm. It's the most tapped in I've ever been in my entire life with the higher spiritual realm, my subconscious, all the ancestors, the whole nine. So it's a big spiritual moment for me, but shook it off real quick, grabbed my stuff, and I skated on them at that cell. Yeah. And then they took me downstairs, put on my clothes, you know what I'm saying, so I can get dressed, had me sign paperwork, and then we hopped in the van, took me straight to my apartment to pack up the rest of my stuff. And as I entered the apartment, sitting there in the living room on the couch with my mama.
I was gonna ask, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's my Duke sitting right there on the couch. So we got this all little embrace, you know what I'm saying, warm embrace. I'm just trying to chop up, feeling on everything that happened while I'm packing up the rest of my stuff. And once I got everything that I needed, they took us straight to the airport where I was deported from the country.
Looking back at those 14 days, what was it that kept you hopeful throughout the whole thing? What were you most optimistic about?
The day I got arrested, before I got arrested that morning, I prayed to my ancestors. I did my typical Thursday ritual, preparing food, laying the food out for them, and then praying and paying homage to them. So I did that morning. So with me getting arrested a couple hours after that, I knew I was going to be good. I didn't know how I was going to play out, but I'm like, I'm going to be good when it's all said and done. Yeah. So that, and of course, I was praying to them left and right all throughout the 14 days. Oh, yeah. Just me. I'm just naturally positive. You know what I'm saying? I was going, that optimistic side of me, you know what I'm saying, always going to be in full throttle. So just, I'm like, shit, if I don't got hope or faith, then I ain't got nothing. You know what I'm saying? Literally, because I ain't nobody else. I ain't like I know anybody else in here. You know what I'm saying? Anybody.
It's a big difference of being optimistic versus you could be pessimistic all day long and it gets you nowhere. It just stresses you out more.
Yeah. Exactly. It's gonna make exactly. It's gonna make this shit 10 times worse. I'm like, imagine if I'd have been there blaming, pointing the finger at other people.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, man, it probably would have been a whole completely different situation. Like, man, the universe, like, he ain't even learned nothing. He ain't learned nothing. Yeah. So yeah, I would definitely just being accountable and just taking my consequence to the chin. Oh yeah. I ended up doing the shortest amount of time out of everybody I was locked up with.
Yeah.
Crazy enough. Like all the other foreigners I locked them with, man, I ended up doing the shortest amount of time out of everybody. And everybody else knew exactly all their information, what they got locked up for to the fullest detail, how many days they supposed to serve, all of that. I'm the only one that don't know nothing.
Yeah. What do you have appreciation, like almost when you got released, a newfound appreciation for?
Oh man, just life in general. All the little things. Like, you know what I'm saying? All the little things. People
Knock at
ask
the
me
door, it can change.
people ask how you doing, but I can't never complain. I can't never complain, but shit can be worse. We've all experienced worse, and this ain't it. So, you know what I mean? All right, man. Every day is a great day. The choice is ours.
How was that when you came back? I'm assuming you probably flew back into Atlanta.
It was a connecting flight from China to Seattle, then Seattle to
Seattle.
Atlanta.
Okay, so you land, you fly back. You're not just readapting to culture in the States, but then you've just gone through.
Yeah,
I mean, something that just completely shakes you. What was your mindset when you arrived back in the U.S.?
Just
and what's next? I'm sure you got that.
That was really it. That was really it. Cause it's like, okay, this doesn't follow me anywhere. Like, if I didn't write this book, nobody would have known this had happened to me. You know what I'm saying? So really? It's like, yeah, it was all. China was just an experience, all entirely, start to finish, just a whole experience, good and bad. I had a full experience of China. Yeah. So I was like, I knew I went through that for a reason. Of course, I made, you know what I'm saying, I made a decision. That was the consequence from it. But I feel like it was bigger than that. You know what I'm saying? It was bigger than that. I'm like, I'm supposed to do something with this story. I don't know what, but I knew I'm supposed to do something. And I got to figure out what I'm going to do now as far as a career and just moving forward. You know what I'm saying? What am I going to do? But I'm like, the only difference between now versus when college came to the end, you have experience. You know what I'm saying? You got experience. And your experience on the other side of the world, that's going to open up doors for you, my boy. And it definitely did. You know what I'm saying? I'm still in education. I just fell into coaching football, going up to the high school. My old high school, just watching them work out over the summer workout. You know what I'm saying? Coach, hey, you trying to coach? Said, I ain't got nothing. Man, I ain't got nothing to lose right now. I ain't got nothing.
Defense, special teams.
Defense for sure. Yeah. I've only played defense my entire career, and I played in the secondary. I played every position, free safety,
corner, safety,
corner, nickel. I played it all. True
okay.
BB. So, fell into coaching. Started writing 14 Days in Beijing that summer. So I got back in April, ain't started writing until like July, and I got that inspiration from one of my close friends that I grew up with here in Atlanta. He was a published author, traditionally published author before we graduated high school in 2014. So he was like, hey, bro, you should write a book about the experience. I was like, that's a great idea. I don't even know where to start, but that's a great idea. He even took it a step further, took my phone, went to my notes, left me a 5-layer outline, a brief outline.
Yeah.
And I just started filling it in. And with me filling it in, I caught a flow for how I wanted to go about telling the story. So I moved it from my notes to a Google Doc to type it up. 4 months later, the story was written, and then spent the next 6 months just, you know what I'm saying, getting it ready for publishing. And while I was still on pre-sale, I was the #1 new bestseller in 3 different genres.
Nice.
Yeah.
What was the biggest challenge of writing a book? That's something I respect anybody who's done, because I feel like everyone on my podcast has written a book but me. What in the world is it like? Is it
the hardest part is getting the story done, writing the story.
I figured it's almost like writing a paper, just getting it going.
Yeah. Man, you hit the nail right on the head, and that's what I preach to my clients that I coach who want to be, you know what I'm saying, who aspire to be authors. But don't think about this like I'm your professor and I just assign this today and it's due at midnight.
Yeah, it's your story.
Don't do it. Don't do that, bro. Exactly. It's a creative project, bro. You can tell this thing however you want to tell it. You can write it however you want to write it. This thing can be in straight pig Latin, bro. You know what I'm saying? You have all the freedom and control. Yeah. So I just tell everybody, like, hey, bro, to start off, man, don't worry about no punctuation, no grammar, no readability, man. Write that motherfucker like you send a long ass text message to one of your best friends. And yo, naturally write it just like that. You know what I'm saying? Don't worry about all that other shit. Just get it on paper first. Plain Jane. You know what I'm saying? Raw like that. You can fine tune it afterwards.
Yeah.
Just to get it on paper, man, write like you send a long text message. And then you can go back and we can, you know what I'm saying? We can work it out then. You know what I'm saying? We can perfect it then. But yeah, that's the hardest part, really, just getting it written. And then, of course, getting it edited and you know what I'm saying, chapters developed and structured and all that. But that's when it gets fun. After the writing is over with, now it's full creativity. All right, I want this section to be a chapter. I want this section to be a chapter. I'm gonna call this chapter this. I'm gonna call this chapter that, based on how this chapter goes. You know what I'm saying? That's when it's all fully creative. I want the cover to portray this, and I want it to look like, man. That's when it gets
good. I like the cover.
I appreciate it. Man, it's crazy how that even played out. The original version of, hold on, I'm grabbing. This is my original version.
Oh, nice. I get concept art.
This is my original concepts. So I drew a picture of my torso in the uniform.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And then, you know what I'm saying, I wanted the title to go across my chest and my name to go across my abs. That's how I originally sketched it out. And I'm just showing people. And everybody like, okay, that's hard. That's cool. That's cool. I showed it to my brother. He was like, I dig it. I think it'd be hard if it was an actual picture of you, though. I was like, that would be hard. But that jacket, I need that jacket to recreate that picture. And that jacket's in Beijing Jail 6. I ain't going back on there. You know what I'm saying? I can't even get that. But I'm like, if I can find a jacket that had similar material, then I could recreate it.
I was like, is that what you did?
Yeah, I'm just researching, trying to find jackets. I couldn't find anything that I felt resembled it until I was in my brother's closet.
Not even on eBay, not even a market for it on eBay.
Because I'm like, I honestly don't know what type. I'm like, I couldn't tell you what type of material that jacket was made of. I just know how it felt. Because I just know how it felt. So I'm in my brother's closet, just looking at his wardrobe, and he had a Dickies jacket in his closet. I looked at that Dickies jacket, touched it, opened it up. Like, hey, boy, this is dead ass. But we was wearing Dickies jackets in there. They just ain't had the Dickie label on. I'm like, we were wearing Dickies jackets in there. It just, you know what I'm saying? The same exact material, same exact feel, weight, everything. So I'm like, okay, went to Dickies website. They only had one blue jacket. I bought it. Hit up my partner. I played football with Stetson. His girlfriend is a phenomenal artist, fashion designer, the whole nine. So I hit her up, like, hey, sent her a picture of, once the jacket came in, took, you know what I'm saying, gave her the jacket and gave her the sketch. I was like, hey, this is how I want the jacket to look. You know what I'm saying? Top half yellow, bottom half blue, one red Chinese characters going across the chest and on the back. And then you can just throw your own little flavor, you know what I'm saying, on there when it's all said and done. But that's mainly, I just want these main parts, main components. And a week later, she called me back to the apartment. And I'm almost teared up looking at the jacket. Cause I'm like, boy, this is all these flashbacks and memories just started coming. I'm like, boy, it looked exactly like how this was the one I wore in there. So I was like, oh yeah, it's up now. Now I was like, okay, we're just gonna have a photo shoot. So we booked some studio time at a photography studio. I got one of my partners I grew up with here in Atlanta. That's a photographer now. And we just did, and we had another one of our classmates. He's a, you know what I'm saying, videographer, photographer as well. So I had my one partner taking pictures, the other partner recording
right people for this.
All in house. All in house. All in house. So it was like,
how was it when you finally held a copy of it? Like a physical copy in your hand?
Crazy. Crazy is just being able to own something.
Like, and that's a legacy. That'll be, we're still reading books from hundreds of years ago.
On me. Facts. So it was empowering. You know what I'm saying? Most people are, you know what I'm saying, my background don't really have ownership, don't really own anything. You know what I'm saying? We got a lot of possessions, but as far as owning it, you know what I'm saying, entirely. I'm talking about like, this is something I created. This is all me entirely. This is mine. We don't really have anything like that. So the fact that I had something that I created, got my name on it, like this all me, 100% me, and it's going, and I put it out to the universe, and it's going crazy. Yeah. Oh man, that's a high of a lifetime. That's a high of a lifetime for sure.
Well, you're not just an author, like you said, you coach. You also work with at-risk teens. I mean, you talk about coming home and being like, what am I going to do next? What is that experience like working with at-risk teens?
It's a vibe because most of them got arrested for drugs. So they can relate to this story like it's like no other.
That relatability is big.
Man, not for real. Because of course you got, you know what I'm saying, they got it judged like you can either go to jail or you can join this program. They joined the program. So it's like, of course, they're going to have folks coming up here all the time to come talk to us and lecture us. So, in fact, we got a young cat in here. and he bestseller author, and his book about getting locked up in China for drugs. Oh yeah, this is lit. So we, you know what I'm saying, we just read a chapter, and I had discussion questions already pre-written out, and it was just life skills. You know what I'm saying, just basic life skills. And I'm just really just helping them reflect.
Yeah,
a lot of the reflecting I got to do with my time in there. I don't know if they was able to have that same amount of time to reflect, or if they were given that same amount of time, can they even tap into that part of their consciousness to have that deep reflection?
yeah.
I highly doubt it. So let me be, you know what I'm saying, that guidance to assist you in that. And you know what I'm saying, we're just gonna reflect on, we're gonna read Lucky's story, how he handled his situation. Now let's reflect on y'all's. Yeah. And how y'all compare, contrast, and what can we take away, and what could we have done better? All right, now moving forward. You know what I'm saying? On that type of time. So it was a vibe, and they really enjoyed, they enjoyed us coming up there and working with them. So it was cool. Like, that was cool.
I go in and just talk to them, but getting them to actually share their what they've been through as well. That's what you bore them. You get up there and just talk all day about. It's what all kinds of troopers do.
Oh, me, da 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 da. Yep. And a lot of them was, man, I'm talking about, a lot of them was recovering addicts.
Wow.
Like hardcore stuff, hardcore drugs. You know what I'm saying? So it was crazy. It was honorable, honestly, very, very honorable. So yeah, I was grateful to be able to share with this young generation, especially ones that are, you know what I'm saying, on the verge of losing themselves. So to be just a catalyst, you know what I'm saying, in their journey is just, that's man.
So I like to preview the episodes before they come out. I'm trying this new thing, and I like to ask the guests this, either on air or off air, but it's from blank to blank. If you were to describe yourself, I'm assuming to be from 14 days in Beijing, what would the two be?
Man, from being fresh out the county with nothing to lose to man.
Because that's pretty big, helping others, getting that word out there. I mean,
I got a lot. There's so many titles. I'm like, man, author, coach, entrepreneur, a sage.
Yeah,
sage.
Okay, I like that. And what's next for you? Like, what's the next big thing you want to do?
Continue to grow Corley Publications LLC. So I own my own publishing company, which all my books are published through, and my coaching services ran through. So
look at getting that story put on film.
Oh yeah, that's man, that's been one of the goals since I dropped it. That's been one of man, it could be a film, it could be a TV show series, it can be a documentary.
They could add some stuff. They could make it. I mean, you know, battered and bruised a little bit in the film.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying, make it juicy. Yeah. But yeah, that's definitely one of the end goals. Get that thing on the big screen.
Day 6, you escape.
All that, you know what I'm saying? It's prison break shit. Yeah, Michael Schofield. Me. But continue to grow Corley Publications. I got one author up underneath me right now who just published his book through my publishing company. And you know what I'm saying, he worked through the service, the coaching service. So I walked him through the whole writing process and publishing it. And his book ranked #1 new bestseller, 2 different genres, on October 16th of this year. And it's titled The Fatherless Child by Anthony McKinney. It's a great read. It's a drama. Great read, no cap. And I got, you know what I'm saying, I'm working with other clients as well. So continue to just grow Corley Publications. You know what I'm saying? Y'all gonna see, okay, then this book on the Corley Publications, book on the Corley Publications. And the best part about Corley Publications LLC, all our authors own all their rights and all the royalties to their work. We're just using Corley Publications to get you on the, you know what I'm saying, on the spectrum. Everything else, man, that's all you, for sure. Tell all your family and friends that want to write a book, come on over here. Collect Publications will be a household publishing company for
So
sure.
we'll have the link in the description. And what do you want your legacy to be at the end of the day?
Man, understand I'm a man, nothing more. I ain't perfect. I've been righting all my wrongs. And that you put anything, you know what I'm saying? We all face adversity. Adversity introduces a man to himself. So to take your lessons and better yourself from your experiences, you know what I'm saying? Just to be like, just that role model, a role model that, you know what I'm saying, a lot of us need. You know what I'm saying? We all gonna fall on our face. We all ain't none of us perfect, you know what I'm saying? But you got a good heart and a good spirit, man. That's universe gonna take heed to that, you know what I'm saying? And once you find your passions, your desires, oh man, it's gonna be a wrap. So just being you know what I'm saying, a hustler, a motivator, encourager, enlightener, influencer, leader. For sure.
I like it. Well, I can't thank you enough for taking time to be on here. I mean, awesome story. We'll have the link for the book, for the publishing company, everything in the episode description here. So folks, make sure whoever's listening to this, that you go check those out. Go over there, support them, grab a copy of the book. Crazy story. And thank you for sharing it here with us today here on The Shadows.
Hey man, appreciate you for having me, for sure. Shout out to everybody that tuned in. If you stayed and watched the whole interview, hey, you a real one. So big shout out to you. Y'all find me on all social media platforms except TikTok. I ain't on there yet.
Yeah, I don't have TikTok yet.
But you can find
me. That's smart with China. It's a Chinese tool, so stay away from TikTok.
Oh me, yeah. Come on now. I know how them folks move. So you can find me on everything else though. Just Google Chancellor K. Jackson. My books. 14 Days in Beijing. I also have a romance saga, You Love, You Learn, and Real Love Never Dies. That's available on my website and Amazon as well. My website is chancellorkjackson.com. I have the audiobook for 14 days as well on SoundCloud.
Do you talk or does someone else talk for you?
I'm reading it. I'm reading it. And it's hard too. It's very theatrical. I'm voice acting characters and my engineer is voice acting other characters. So it's very, very theatrical.
You're the second person I talked to today who's had like a romance. So I talked to someone earlier and I was like, what are the main two characters' names? And she told me the names and I'm like, how'd you get them? She Googled like sexy names. And I was like, all right, so I was learning stuff. I was learning stuff about how to write a romance novel. And I was like, Trip, is Trip a sexy name? And she's like, she was going with more like, I forgot what the name of hers was, but yeah. So I'm gonna have to ask my wife when she gets home.
Me.
But yeah, everybody's doing romance novels now. So
I mean, man, I was doing research one day on the best-selling genres. I saw romance at the top, and I was already receiving bugs from my partner that inspired me to write 14 Days. He was telling me to write the romance saga. Once 14 Days was going crazy, a lot of the women that I was involved with that read 14 Days, I had a girlfriend at the time, and I speak about her all throughout 14 Days, but I never get to talk to her. So they was like, okay, you talk about this girlfriend of yours all throughout the book, but you get out, and that's the end of the story. So what happened with y'all? How that story play out? We want to know the tea on that. So, you know what I'm saying? They in my ear about it. But once I saw that romance at the top of the list, best-selling genres,
women all around the world with boxed wine and Virginia Slim sitting around.
That's all I do like this. I'm on my bet. Yeah. And it's 14 Days. True story.
I will definitely keep in contact with you. Shadows is going to hit you up on Instagram right after this. But yeah, man, I appreciate you taking time. And yeah, keep in contact, folks.
Likewise. And I want to leave y'all with a message. The message is from Nipsey Hussle. Y'all don't, for those that don't know who Nipsey Hussle was, a serial entrepreneur, but was well known for his music and his clothes. But the message is long-winded, running through this life like it was mine. Never settling, but setting every goal high. 1,000 burpees on the path to my own self-destruction or success. But what's a mistake without the lesson? You see, the best teacher in life is your own experience. And none of us know who we are until we fail. They say every person is defined by their reactions to any given situation. So who would you want to define you? Someone else or yourself? Whatever you choose to do, homie, give your heart to it. Stay strong.
That's where we're going to end this.